They say he pretty much went everywhere, you know. And Saul's first thing to his servant is, well, shoot, man, let's just go back home. We can't find these stubborn ones. We can't get a hold of them. So that's gonna be with Saul throughout his whole tenure. Is Saul, right when you right there, dog. Right when you right there. That's why the name of this sermon is Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will, and knock and the. Because when the Christ says those words, he literally is telling us in the best way. That's the best, purest way. Listen to me. Listen, this is important. When the Christ says those words, hold this one for a long time, for your life. When the Christ says those words, it's his best moment to say to you, have faith. Our Father is faithful. That's his best moment to say, because our Father is faithful. Our Father Yah is faithful. He loves us. He's faithful. He's always there. He's always got our back. He always has our best interests in mind. He is always going to do what he said he was going to do. And he's always, always, always going to come through. That's very difficult to explain to people. And the best way when Christ says that to them is a way that they can understand. Seek and you will find. See, knock and the door will be open. And then finally, ask and it shall be given to you. What he's saying is, within the righteousness of our Father, he cannot fail you in your requests.
In obedience, if you set out, the Lord will keep your plans from going south. For words proceed from the Father's mouth, and those who heed them know that God protects his child.
I was looking on the way. I'd been searching for a long time, and I was getting tired of excuses profuse in my mind. I said, man, let's give up, let's move on. He said, you're better than that, kid. Come on, be strong. We went up on a hill, heard the word of the Lord. He said, never stop if I say keep moving forward. I've got a purpose for you, and some anointing oil. Keep the faith till I give you a crown and make you royal.
First Samuel 9. There was a man of Benjamin, whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, son of Zerah, son of Becharath, son of Aphiah, a Benjaminite, a man of wealth. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man. There was not a man among the people of Israel more handsome than he, for his shoulders upward he was taller than any of the people. Now the asses of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. So Kish said to Saul his son, take one of the servants with you, and arise, go and look for the asses. And they passed through the hill country of Ephraim, and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they did not find them. And they passed through the land of Shalem, but they were not there. Then they passed through the land of Benjamin, but did not find them. When they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant who was with him, "Come, let us go back, lest my father cease to care about the asses and become anxious about us." But he said to him, "Behold, there is a man of God in this city, and he is a man that is held in honor. All that he says comes true. Let us go there. Perhaps he can tell us about the journey on which we have set out." Then Saul said to his servant, "But if we go, what can we bring the man? For the bread in our sacks is gone, and there is no presents to bring to the man of God. What have we?" The servant answered Saul again, "Here, I have with me the fourth part of a shekel of silver, and I will give it to the man of God, to tell us our way." Formerly in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, he said, "Come, let us go to the seer." For he who is now called a prophet was formerly called a seer. And Saul said to his servant, "Well said, come, let us go." So they went to the city where the man of God was. As they went up the hill to the city, they met young maidens coming out to draw water. And they said to them, "Is the seer here?" They answered, "He is. Behold, he is just ahead of you. Make haste. He has come just now to the city, because the people have a sacrifice today on the high place. As soon as you enter the city, you will find him, before he goes up to the high place to eat, for the people will not eat till he comes, since he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those eat who are invited. Now go up, for you will meet him immediately." So they went up to the city. As they were entering the city, they saw Samuel coming out towards them on his way up to the high place. Now, the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed to Samuel, "Tomorrow, about this time, I will send to you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be prince over my people Israel. He shall save my people from the hand of the Philistines, for I have seen the affliction of my people, because their cry has come to me." When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord came to him. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, "Here is the man of whom I spoke to you. He it is who shall rule over my people." Then Saul approached Samuel in the gate and said, "Tell me, where is the house of the seer?" Samuel answered Saul, "I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for today you shall eat with me, and in the morning I will let you go and will tell you all that is on your mind. As for your asses that were lost 3 days ago, do not set your mind on them, for they have been found. And for whom is all that is desirable in Israel? Is it not for you and for all your father's house?" Saul answered, "Am I not a Benjaminite, from the least of the tribes of Israel? And is not my family the humblest of all families of the tribe of Benjamin? Why then have you spoken to me in this way?" Then Samuel took Saul and his servant brought them into the Then Samuel took Saul and his servant and brought them into the hall and gave them a place at the head of those who had been invited, who were about 30 persons. And Samuel said to the cook, "Bring the portion I gave you, of which I said to you, put it aside." So the cook took up the leg and the upper portion and set them before Saul. And Samuel said, "See, what was kept is set before you. Eat, because it was kept for you until the hour appointed, that you might eat with the guests." So Saul ate with Samuel that day. And when they came down from the high place into the city, a bed was spread for Saul upon the roof, and he lay down to sleep. Then at the break of dawn, Samuel called to Saul upon the roof, "Up, that I may send you on your way." So Saul rose, and both he and Samuel went out into the street. As they were going down to the outskirts of the city, Samuel said to Saul, "Tell the servant to pass on before us, and when he passed on, stop here for yourself a while, that I may make known to you the word of God." This word of the Lord. Our Father, pray. Amen.
Yeah. 1 Samuel chapter. You want one, bro? Just scoop. You've had that one before. Go ahead. The anointed one. Oh, Ephraim. Forgot. I come back to you. Emmanuel. I saw it through the grapevine. Anybody else? Got it. You remember now? You sure? All right, go ahead. I was old in with the new. What, you got one football?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, he said it's good for this week. Oh, wait, you're popping up with one? Eliezer? Go ahead.
Let him give you some advice.
Let him give you some advice. Oh, yeah? Okay, that's not bad. Nobody? That's it? All right. Let's get into it. First Samuel, chapter 9. Seek and you shall find. Knock, it shall be open. Ask and it shall be given. Big Saul, the anointed one. I was reading today, I was feeling a little different about Saul. I think Saul gets a bad rap because he tried to stay longer than what he was supposed to be. That's really it. Saul gets a bad rap, but when David is your successor, it's almost like you kind of getting set up. You know what I'm saying? Then when David is your successor, it's almost like, you know, you don't want to be the one right before David or right after. You know what I mean? Really. Because David was like that. But still. I was reading today, I had a different look at Saul. And I was like, you know, how would I feel about Saul if it wasn't for David? You know what I mean? And because really Saul's whole thing takes a nosedive because we all understood that David had become chosen and Saul was still kind of holding on to it, you know. But when you hear Saul's stories today, there's some elements of it that I was like, you know what? My father knows what he's doing. Because Saul had a purpose. And he was the first one, the anointed one. So there were certain things just needed to be. And you got to think about that. That Saul was it. Saul was the first one. See, in Israel, and things just needed to be a certain way. And you got to think about it. Saul embodied that. It said Saul was tall and handsome. That's his physical characteristic. He was taller than everybody at the shoulders. And he was very handsome to look upon, too. That's what you could just see right off a rip. Consider it. Consider that. The two metrics that people go by as far as leadership is likability and competence. You see? And Saul's going to be the first leader in Israel. The father is understanding how the people perceive things, and he give them right off a rip. The Saul, he's got that likability because he's soft on the eyes. You can look at him all the time and not have no problem with it. Soft on the eyes. Consider that though, because that goes a long way for people to be able to trust. You gotta think about that. People, as soon as they lay eyes on you, they're going to make they're going to discern whether they can trust you or not right away. And that, you can get into a relationship and further on, they can decide that. But usually people make a snap judgment right off a rip at least because that's what keeps them safe. It's instinctual. And Saul was one that the father chose and said, you don't really got to know nothing else about Saul. As soon as you lay eyes on him, you're going to know, oh, he's an anointed one, a chosen leader, likability. But then the story is told, is how it was, of Saul's lineage. You started getting to know Saul. And you start understanding, even though Saul had that immediate royal appearance like that, that would lend toward the confidence of the people right away. You got to think about the awesomeness of God and the way he put stuff together because he said, yeah, he's going to look like that and people will believe him for that. They're going to accept his leadership right off a rip. But I'm about to get him up out of Benjamin. Benjamin is not offensive to anybody. You see that? Because Benjamin is in a position of not a threat. Benjamin already was the smallest one to begin with, right? But the Benjamin boys was wild, but they had to subdue them, remember? And ever since then, Benjamin had a reputation like, well, this is a little brother. Consider that. It's the littlest brother. And he got wild for a minute, but we took care of that. So it's just back to little brother for Benjamin. And so the humility that's just already there, and the fact of Benjamin is not offensive, because all the other tribes are thinking, well, I guess so. Just consider what it would be like if, watch this, the first leader came right out of Judah. You see that? You think they're going for that? You think they're going for that? No. Because Judah's the oldest boy and is prolifically the strongest. So the minute they say it's coming out of Judah, people be like, oh, no, because Judah going to get too much. You see that? And Judah going to dominate over us. They're going to have all types of problems with that. And people and tribes and groups that are in close proximity to each other can very seldom get along. You're going to find that out. If they perceive you to be dominant like that, there's going to be pressure because they like, we'll never be able to come out from under that. As it is, the leadership going to come out of Judah. Father knows that. But they're not going to accept it right away because that's going to be too much for them. But if I bring them up out of Benjamin, then the people will be like, oh, yeah, okay, then let's go with that. It's not a threat. So Saul, this is the great part of what the Father is looking for and what he gives in Saul, is someone who immediately can be trusted by the people because he's soft on the eyes. And his background is one that is of a humble beginnings. That's the leader. That's going to be the first one in Israel. Wonderful. And now watch this. And then watch this. Saul's story. Because Saul came from a lineage of, they kept the flocks too. And the flocks, I don't know what happened to the flocks. They just went roaming. I would say Saul's going to be the one that's going to bring us all back and relinquish this long-standing oppression the Philistines have had over us. He's going to be that. And Saul really does get into him. So they send Saul out of all the different sons. Listen to this. To go find the lost asses. Did y'all consider that? You see how Saul cut? I'm going to repeat that. Y'all might have just skimmed over that. Did they say that with Judah, when David came, or when the Christ came, what they say that he came to do? Who would he come to find? The lost sheep. So y'all see what I'm talking about now? Who that when they send David and them, and they send Christ and them from Judah, who they coming to get? The lost sheep. That's why I try to tell you when I was reading this, I'm like, I started feeling a little bit differently about Saul because he had a purpose, specific in God. And they said that Saul came to do what? Find who?
The asses.
That's crazy. He came to find the lost asses. And he goes everywhere looking for them. And so just consider the state of Israel that the Father is saying, this who you need to bring y'all into some semblance of nationality. Oh, because they've lost that. They lost their cohesiveness. They are run amok. Everybody does everything. Y'all know what it was like in the books before this First Samuel. And Samuel was trying to bring them together, doing not a bad job of judging them. But even his sons, they said, was out here. The sons of the priests out here like what? Some donkeys. They all like that. And it's Saul, head and shoulders above the rest, that's going to do what? Find the lost asses. Basically bring Israel to a point where they could be national. And that right there is a tough job. Saul goes around with his servant looking for these lost asses. And they say that they really couldn't find them nowhere. And Saul is just about ready to give up. That's a precursor to some of what is a nuance with Saul, why he has difficulty in his leadership, you know, is just the faith. And you guys, when we talk about Saul, that's what we're gonna deal with. Saul is he doesn't have that faith that's gonna come out of Judah. So he walks all around Israel. He actually covered a lot of ground. That's what they said. They say he pretty much went everywhere, you know. And Saul's first thing to his servant is, well, shoot, man, let's just go back home. We can't find these stubborn ones. We can't get a hold of them. So that's gonna be with Saul throughout his whole tenure. Is Saul, right when you right there, dog. Right when you right there. That's why the name of this sermon is Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will, and knock and because when the Christ says those words, he literally is telling us in the best way. That's the best, purest way. Listen to me. Listen, this is important. When the Christ says those words, hold this one for a long time, for your life. When the Christ says those words, it's his best moment to say to you, have faith. Our Father is faithful. That's his best moment to say, because our Father is faithful. Our Father Yah is faithful. He loves us. He's faithful. He's always there. He's always got our back. He always has our best interests in mind. He is always going to do what he said he was going to do. And he's always, always, always going to come through. That's very difficult to explain to people. And the best way when Christ says that to them is a way that they can understand. Seek and you will find. You see, knock and the door will be open. And then finally, ask and it shall be given to you. What he's saying is, within the righteousness of our Father, he cannot fail you in your request. Faith. See that? That's faith. When you can proceed, listen, when you can proceed, this foot, that foot, boom, boom, one in front of the other, and you can proceed that everything that was asked for, that everything that you sought for, that every door that you knocked, our Father did it all. I had once tried to describe it and say, well, if it's as if you knew that it was going to rain, and you knew that for sure, and it was going to rain hard, and you had to go somewhere, then when you leave out, you're going to proceed with the knowledge that it's going to rain. You're going to take an umbrella with you. Faith, proceeding, knowing that what you believe, what you put out there, what the Father heard, what the Father said will be, certainly. And Saul is one of the seminal examples. All the way up until he's going to be the seminal example. He's going to be the seminal example until you get to Peter. Where you see that our Father tries to give us examples of what it can be like to be a chosen one of God. Did you see what I said? To be a chosen one of the children, just like Peter, just like Saul. But even though God chose you and told you this is what it's going to be, you can't put one foot in front of the other like you need to. But we should leave today from out the Holy Scriptures and out the revelation of our Father, knowing that when we ask, yes. And when we knock, it'll be open. And when we seek, we're going to find it. And so Saul should be saying, listen to this. I'm a chosen one of God, although he doesn't really know it yet. But I'm rolling with that confidence. I'm going to find these stubborn ones, man. That's my purpose that God gave me, to bring Israel back in its stubborn state. Not lost sheep, but lost asses. So the sheep are lost. Guess what? When sheep get lost, you know the crazy thing about when sheep get lost? The reason why sheep get lost? Because they wander and they didn't really know where they were going. So it's kind of like their vision is not like that. That's what they say. They say actually that sheep cannot see very far at all. And if they take a couple of steps in the wrong direction, they actually can't even see their way back because their vision is trash like that. That's literally what they say. They can't see very, very far in front of them. So if they start rolling off this way, when they turn around, if they 10 feet, 20 feet away from the flock, they're not going to see the flock no more. That's what they say. So when they get lost, it's like some innocence involved. You understand? Lost sheep who wander just a little bit and then boom, they in one. Not the same with donkeys. They can see forever. So when they get lost, they're not really lost. They wanted to roam and they wanted to do that. And they want to be out there. And when you go try to get them back, what you think they about to do? scream and shout, not move and stuff like that. This is Saul's purpose, and he's roaming around. He cannot find them, obviously. But here is where his leadership comes to the test of what I'm trying to explain to you guys is going to be huge for your life. He says, we can't find them. Let's go home. And the servant says, let's not give up just yet. You see that? The difference between the two men? Because they often say that right when you right there is where you say, forget it. That's what they say. They say right when you're right up on it and you've pretty much achieved the goal, you just need to take one more step, is right when Satan appeals to you and says, you don't have the faith for that, just turn backwards. And if you're in a Saul type of situation, because you've never experienced our Father Yah to be able to say, whatever I asked for, whatever I sought for, and whatever I knocked for. Like whatever door was in the way, whatever request that was ever made, right? And whatever was ever lost. Any obstacle that I ever had, any confusion that I ever came across. You see that? And any wisdom that I was ever lacking. I put it to my Father and it came back good. So when you don't have that, you can be one step away from victory. And Satan can run up on you and be like, just turn back. You've been walking long enough. You've been in this one long enough. You've done enough. It's not going to break through. And you can turn back and cash it all in and be a laughing stock of Satan. We're going to read this again about Saul. Guess what? The servant, amen. The servant is the one who has enough. And he says, Saul, yeah, you want to go home. But we have pretty much arrived, I think. And Saul's like, how so, bro? We've been roaming around. We ain't nowhere probably closer to find these sheep. And he's like, hey, I heard that there's a man of God who can show us the way. He said, fine, Saul. You don't think that we'll find these lost asses? Put it like this then. Let's just do this. We can give up, which is what you want to do. We're at the moment of faith right now. The moment of faith isn't all the other towns that they've been to, all the other trials and tribulations that they've been through. That's not moments of faith. The moment of faith is when it all comes to the culmination of, I'm ready to give up. Did you see that? People be like, oh yeah, my faith was tried, it's this and that. It was never tried unless you come to a moment and you say, I'm going to give up. And those moments are very real. You know when you come to that, I'm going to give up. There's no use in this. No way to prevail. And right there, the servant, amen, says, no, there's a man of God who can show us the way nearby. Let's just at least go see him since we came all this way. Saul is like, all right then, but just that, because if that don't do it, we got to go back. Listen to what he says. He said, we got to go back because my father's going to worry about me. Our Father could never be worried about us because he's faithful. He's always there. That can never be, Saul. Our Father isn't absent from us. He know what he sent us out here to do. And he know that fighting them lost asses of Israel is no short order. So our dad ain't worried about us. Pops ain't worried about us. He sent us here for a reason to get something done, and he's faithful to see us through it. But Satan will give you any thought. I'm telling you guys this. You guys, people think that Satan come with only just a lie. Are y'all there? Be with me on this. People think that Satan is a one-trick pony, like he just only come with a lie, a deception. No. Satan can do anything. He can appeal to any other type of emotion. It could be like lies, deception. He could be like ego. You know what I'm saying? Vanity, right? He could be like sympathy. You know what I'm talking about? Worry. He could be like rejoicing, jubilance. You see what I'm talking about? He could be like victory. Satan can deal in any of it and cause you to go off the deep end. You sympathizing with somebody who's a axe murderer. That's what they tell you to do nowadays. Satan is coming real heavy with the sympathy one for us. He'll put somebody in front of you who is probably going straight toward judgment and got no problem with it, and then tell you, all of these rappers, they had tough childhoods because they grew up in the projects and they had to eat government cheese. No one ever says like government cheese tastes good. No one ever just says that. No one ever says like that government cheese was pretty good quality cheese. No one ever says that. So they say sympathize with these horrible people who come out here and sell to children. That's why I can call them horrible, because it says anybody that will cause the children to sin, it'd be better for a millstone to be put around the neck and they'd be thrown into the sea. You over here rapping, putting all these nice beats onto these songs, and you telling the children, kill, murder, fornicate, kidnap, do all of that stuff. Do drugs, do it all to a great beat, and even dance to it and live your life like that. This is the people that they gave to us. I digress. Where was I at? Why was I saying that? Yeah. Thank you. Well, somebody paying attention today. Little pretty lady in green. Satan doesn't care. So when he's coming with that, he catching you totally off guard. You think he coming with something else, but he like, oh, sympathize with this person. They had it rough. Don't they deserve your sympathy? Don't they deserve a pat on the back? Don't they deserve for you to root for them, that they succeed and getting all this money and getting rich because they were once poor? And don't never mind the fact that they're trying to destroy everybody else's life on their way to the top. Just sympathize with the fact that at one point they had government cheese and they lived in the projects of New York. You know, Satan can come with anything, you guys. He really, truly doesn't care. So when Satan comes and he says, aren't you tired? These lost asses can never be found. You see that? They stubborn anyway. He could do anything at that moment to get you to say, whatever I ask for might not be given. Whatever I'm looking for might not be found. That's the moment where it counts. The servant says, man, look, let's go see the man of God. We're going to borrow some faith. They walk into the town. They see the maidens out there getting water. The maidens be like, you better hurry up. You'll miss him. He's up there about to do sacrifice right now. People bring sacrifices. And of course, they sit down to eat and stuff like that, you know. But if you catch him, he'll be there. The scripture says that our father already had made the provision and everything for Saul. He walked up onto Samuel, and Samuel was like, yeah, I know who you are and where you come from. And guess what? You almost gave up. You almost gave up for what you actually came for. And it's that servant that caused Saul to have a breakthrough. And Samuel is able to pronounce for Saul that, bro, you're the one. And that's really what this whole thing, this whole journey you've been on is about, that the Father had you on. But really, bro, one thing you're going to have to learn is that your faith is going to be at issue. Guess what? Them asses is found. Don't even worry about it. You ready to give up on something that's already been achieved. Consider that. When the Christ looks to the heaven and sees Satan thrown down like a lightning bolt, long time ago. And then he declares, I saw death swallowed up in victory. And you still got people talking about I'm agnostic or I'm atheist or I'm Luciferian. This is stupid. This is what Samuel was saying. Boy, do you realize that you were going to give up on something that's already been given? This is how the stupid state that Satan has y'all in. You guys are literally giving up achieving something that has already been achieved. Consider it. That the only thing that we're here to do, you guys, the only thing that we are here to do is to walk on the way. It's as simple as that. Just keep walking forward in your righteous purpose. And persist in faith. I'm going to keep walking and keep doing righteousness every day and keep persisting and keep on saying, my Father is the Father. And I believe him for everything that was asked, everything that was knocked, was open, and I believe him for everything that was lost. This is what Samuel is here to tell Saul. Guess what? Everything is already done. The only thing you need to do is keep moving forward instead of turning back. And any excuse in the world to turn back, to doubt, cannot be good enough because it's all satanic. Including the excuse of, Don't go no further because you might worry your dad. Don't go no further because your father may become worried because you're out here unprotected and something could happen to you. And it's your father who the one that sent you on the way. Before he sent you, he already knew that you was bigger than everybody else. You see that? Before he sent you, he already knew that you was handsomer than everybody else. You see that? Before he sent you, he already knew that you were capable to bring back the lost asses. And before he sent you, he already knew that you were capable to subdue the Philistines. But that's all before he sent you. And now you let Satan come to tell you that now that you're out there getting it done, it's the Father who's worried about you. The one who knows your skill set and put you out there? Unlikely. Unlikely. Our Father ain't never worried about what they might do to us because everything is in our Father's hand. You understand? And we have to have the faith to keep on keeping on, putting one foot in front of the other and keep going forward in the way of righteousness. Ask and it shall be. Knock and it will be. Seek and it shall be. There we go. Samuel invited Saul in. Everything was there. Everything was prepared for it. They had a bed for him, a place at the banquet. Sacrifice was already there. Y'all heard that? Nothing was missing. Nothing was missing. The sacrifice was there. The places were laid out. He had a bed to sleep in. Everything was all laid out. And even every single lost ass was found. It's just a test of faith, you guys. Understand? When you enter into a situation, you're going to find that every lost ass was found. You're going to see that the banquet and the feast table is already set up. You're going to see that the sacrifice was already made. You understand? Do y'all understand me? You're going to find everything has already been taken care of. And all you needed to do was keep walking forward on the way. That's all we need to do in this life. Keep walking forward, persisting on our Father and righteousness in the way. You're going to find that everything has already been taken care of. It's just a test of faith. Got it? I bless you this day in the name of our Father, the great and faithful one. That while you're on this path, on this journey, that he will cause his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you. That he will lift up his countenance upon you, give you peace. Pray these things in his most holy name, and in the name of the Son, the Christ, the Messiah, Yeshua, Mashiach, who certainly walked in faith all of the steps. Prepared the way and prepared everything so that we could be able to join at the table of sacrifice. In the name of our Father, Yeshua.